Technically, I'm in Şanlıurfa, which is about 50 kilometers north of the border. The implications of this deal is that it raises the stakes because of the strong prospect of a battle between the Turkish army and the Syrian government forces. One of the three towns that the Syrian Kurdish-led militia, the Syrian Democratic Forces, have said they will now hand over to the Syrian government forces is Kobani. And Kobani is right on the Turkish border. You can almost throw a stone from a window in Kobani into Turkey. Now, I can't see the Turkish army allowing the Syrian government forces to take that town. Another of the three towns is Manbij, and the Turkish government has been wanting to take over that town, has been saying it will throw the Kurds out of that town for years now. So, a battle is looming, that's for sure. But even if the Syrian government manages to avoid a head-on collision with the Turkish army, allowing the Syrian Kurds to tackle the Turkish army, and the Syrian government will give the Syrian Kurds support, I imagine that support will include heavy weapons, the sort of Russian tanks and heavy guns that the Syrian Kurds lack now. And if that happens, the battle will intensify.
And meanwhile, Jasper, tell us what's happening along the Turkish side of that border.
Well, I've been in two Turkish towns which are just across the border from two Syrian towns where the fighting has been very intense in the last 3 days. In Ceylanpınar, which is a Kurdish town across the border from Ras Al-Un, 90% of the shops are closed. The town has virtually emptied. Those people who are there are men. They have sent their wives and children elsewhere in Turkey for their protection. And those men who have stayed just to protect their shops and homes from thieves. They are Kurds, and they are very much opposed to this Turkish government offensive in northeastern Syria. They say its purpose is just to wipe out the Syrian Kurds. I've also been in Akçakale, where I was yesterday, which is across the border from Tel Abyad. Now, most of the people in Akçakale are Arabs, and their lives don't seem to have been affected very much. There are still men, women, and children on the streets. Shops are open. Life seems to go on as before, and when you talk to them and ask them why they haven't fled the town, they say because we're used to it. We've seen the Islamic State take over Tel Abyad. We've seen the Kurds push Islamic State out of Tel Abyad. So we're used to intense fighting over there. We're not scared. At one unreal scene, I saw women tendering a flock of sheep alongside the Turkish-Syrian border. And, just 1.5 kilometers away from them, people were killing each other. But here in front of me was this pastoral scene that could have been painted by Corot.